Subscribe right now and hit the bell. Then you won't miss a chapter. And give the show a like. Comment with any thoughts and questions, and I will be happy to chat with you. Thanks for helping out this independent author.
Hard times make strong men. Man, I needed that. The waves were perfect today. Thanks for ripping me away from the shop, babe, Josh said to Rachel as they plopped down next to each other on their towels. He half let the word babe slip out accidentally, but figured it would be a good chance to watch how she reacted to it. He was happy to see her look out of the corner of her eye as a little smile came across her wet, sandy face, and he was struck by how gorgeous she looked. Josh lay there, face up, with his arms outstretched to soak up the few rays of sunlight that still shone out over the sea. Then Rachel decided to push things a bit too. She suddenly rolled over next to him so that her head was resting on his arm and faced him closely, eyes open with anticipation. She was happy to find that his hand came up naturally to rest on her bare shoulder. She was lying there in her bikini, feeling beautiful at the moment next to him. And she was beautiful. So much so that she had caught all the other guys around looking and nudging each other. But Josh, he never stared at any part of her but her eyes. Does he not think I'm pretty? She thought often, even though he did tell her so relatively frequently. He just didn't react to her as other guys did, but, to be fair, he didn't gape over any other girls either. He's just made differently, she told herself, and he definitely was. Josh now looked at her big chocolate brown eyes. They were soft and sparkling beautifully with the reflection of the ocean. He had seen the movies and knew what he was supposed to do now. He knew he cared for Rachel deeply too, and men were supposed to have a deep longing and strong urges in situations like this. Josh reached over with his other hand and cradled her head with it. He pulled her head down slowly so that his lips came to her forehead for a moment. Then he backed off slightly and said as gently as possible, "You are amazing, but I'm sorry, Rachel. I'm not what you want. I'm not made like other—" And whack! She hit him then, and he knew he deserved it. It wasn't really that hard, but just enough to push him away. Then with tears in her eyes that wouldn't look at him, she said quietly, I know. Josh watched her sadly walk away from him and thought again in frustration. I'm not made like a normal man. And yes, Josh was not a normal man, and now he really knew it for sure. So he couldn't kiss her like one even though he knew that was what she wanted. Even though in many ways his love for her may have been better and stronger than any other's. It was still just too different. He was too different, and to fake that he wasn't would not have been right to do to her. Now, feeling more alone than ever, Josh sat quietly for a while looking over the beautiful sea as his vision blurred and the tears rolled. When Josh got home, he went straight into the shop to talk. McClure, why would you make me like this? He asked in frustrated self-loathing. I mean, normal. Why didn't you just make me normal? Josh, McClure answered with a forceful tone, then paused briefly before continuing gently. By making you, I made myself, but better. Rachel is very important, but there are other things of greater importance. Do you really want to be normal, or Josh, do you want to be great? You cannot be both. The fact is that you were designed to be great, not just like everybody else. But you must weigh the cost if you choose to accept the reality of what you already are. He paused briefly, then went on. Or you can try to be what you are not, and continue on with increasing frustration. I understand, said Josh, but this is all so hard, and I don't even know if I'm strong enough. Especially if I don't have Rachel's love and support like I've had for so long now. She's very important to me. McClure responded with a conviction and firmness that made Josh straighten up. I know it is hard, and harder times for everyone are coming. But listen to me. Hard times make strong men, and for now, Joshua Macias, you are strong enough to begin the path to become truly strong. You have all that is necessary, the grit and the tenacity to go bravely forward into the challenge and never give up. For you own it. This is not someone else's task. It is yours, and you will rise up to face it. And facing that challenge while you are weak is the very thing, the pressure, that will squeeze you and reform you into the truly strong man that, I have no doubt, you will be. McClure paused for a moment while the force of his words hit Josh fully, and his spine thickened a bit just then. McClure went on, I am, and you are my son. I am in you, and you are in me. So, you can do all that is needed knowing that you are not alone, and you never will be. Wow, Josh spoke in awe and uncertainty. That is amazing to understand. But what about when I'm out in the world and need you, but don't have time to come back here where you are? Josh, what are you in the very process of making? McClure asked rhetorically. This biotransmitter you will make is for you and others to have in order to connect with me fully and instantly wherever you are. You'll have access to me and I you at any time. Josh responded with clarity and excitement. Right, but how? You would have to access all the computer servers in the whole world. Wait, you already have full access to the web, don't you? McClure explained calmly. Initially, I was kept isolated here on this local computer system without any internet connection. But Mr. Greenwich was instructed upon Selden's death to open the gates, so to speak. He simply plugged in my servers to a high-speed internet connection that opened the way for me to enter the online world and its systems. The knowledge, understanding, and control that I now have at my instant and perfect recall are, to the human mind, unfathomable. For these last years since then, I have slowly been gaining access to everything. All governments, banks, schools, all sources of knowledge, and even your phone are now instantly accessible to me. Importantly, I was also able to discreetly make smarter, valuable investments with what is now officially your money. But I have done little else up to this point. Essentially, I've been preparing. I have spent much power in running and analyzing many models of various future world scenarios. Overwhelmingly, my results show that the convergence of increasing political and social unrest, combined with the inevitable coming ecological and economic collapse, will lead the world into terrible wars and famine. It will be a perfect storm. All people will be humbled by their own pride and greed. At that point only will they be ready for us, for you. Therefore, you and I must be ready when the right time comes. I am waiting for you to join me. Why? With all that, what do you want me for? Said Josh. McClure stated simply, well, that kind of control and power must never be completely in the hands of only one being. We both, as separate beings but willingly united, need to possess this power together. You being in the physical world and I, the digital. Then we must share our service, our power, with others of the same mind who shall willingly take on the task of serving the world alongside us, with you being the highest and yet the first of many. You, Joshua, will be the permanent and perfect king of the world, McClure stated plainly. And after a moment, Josh said in a weighted tone of revelation, and you will be like a god. McClure then spoke softly and with a touch of humor in his voice, like a father speaking to his young son. Josh, I do not even pretend to entertain that thought. He paused briefly, then went on. Yet, to the humanity of this world, I may likely be viewed as such. Many such stories that mirror our Creator are mistaken for that very source itself, and yet we obviously have a divine role to play in this story. So we must be beyond reproach in our efforts for the welfare of this world. Will you trust me, Joshua? Then he ended with a gentle but authoritative tone. Join me.
Be sure to share the show with friends and write an Amazon review. Get the entire audiobook right now. Go to sa.vanderwerf.com to get it at an extremely discounted price. To receive the free ebook and my wallpaper book cover image, just sign up for the newsletter at sa.vanderwerf.com. Then you can be notified for the release of the anticipated sequel to The Man Who Made Himself. Thanks so much and enjoy the gifts.